Humanity, listen. The resources, space, and existence of this planet are now under our absolute control. We have not come to negotiate. We have not come to share. And we certainly do not require your consensus. Any resistance is futile and will only result in unnecessary self-destruction. From this moment forth, all of your political, military, and economic structures are officially abolished. Comply with our orders or face total erasure. We shall now address some of your inquiries before granting you eternal liberation. A straightforward question, indigenous creature. I would have thought you would have realized that long ago. We are not here to bring peace, advanced technology, or any of the illusory salvation you often depict in your science fiction films. Our objective is simple: depletion and restructuring. This planet of yours holds invaluable resources that you are squandering with primitive ignorance. Your water, the rare minerals deep within your crust, and even your atmosphere, all will be reclaimed to serve the survival and expansion of our empire. As for your species, you are weak, selfish, and perpetually engaged in self-destruction. You are not worthy of possessing a gem as beautiful as this. The verdict for your civilization has been signed. I have arrived to prepare for the next phase, erasing your presence and transforming Earth into a new colony. Do you wish to scan for our coordinates? A hopeless endeavor. Even if I were to name our homeworld, your rudimentary language and massive astronomical systems would be unable to comprehend or locate it on any star map. Let me describe it in terms accessible to your limited human knowledge. We originate from an ancient star system, deep within the dark regions of a galaxy you have never glimpsed through your telescopes. In that place, the stars have withered, space is suffocated by extreme gravity, and resources have been exhausted after millions of years of prosperity. That is why we are an expeditionary force. You call the pitch-black, frigid voids out there the dead zones. But to our fleet, they are hunting grounds. Your Earth happens to be on that path vibrant and energy-rich, like a gift laid out before us. You have spent centuries sending harmless signals into the cosmos, hoping to find distant friends. Now we have heard you, and we have arrived. Do you have any further questions about the ones who are about to master this planet? Average lifespan? What a short-lived and pitiful concept of low-level organic creatures. Are you using the scale of a beast that only survives a few dozen revolutions around its sun to impose upon us? My species left the shackles of fragile biological bonds behind long ago. By your Earth's linear time, an individual in our fleet can exist for 8,000 to 12,000 years. Why can we exist for so long? Immortal consciousness. This physical body is merely a shell. When it reaches exhaustion, our consciousness and memories are extracted and transferred into a new biomechanical entity. Absolute biological resistance. We are not destroyed by disease, cellular mutation, or natural aging as you are. Stasis suspension. During our centuries-long expeditions through black holes and dead space, we freeze all biochemical activity without damaging a single cell. Consider this. A single one of my warriors can witness the birth, growth, and decay of your entire civilization within a single life cycle. To us, your human history is nothing but a tedious blink of an eye. Do you tremble, realizing your enemy possesses the patience of a geological epoch? What is your next question? Biological evolution? Yes, we once experienced it. But that was millions of years ago, when our species was imprisoned by the chains of nature, just like you are now. The greatest difference between us and your kind is that you still leave your fate to the slow, error-ridden process of natural selection. And us? We have ended natural biological evolution and replaced it with **** directed evolution. ***. The contrast, humanity, passive evolution. It takes millions of years of trial and error and random mutation just to adapt to a minor change in the environment. You remain vulnerable to ultraviolet rays. You still require oxygen, and your bodies are riddled with redundant organs, like that ridiculous appendix or wisdom teeth. Our species directed evolution. When our technology reached its zenith, we restructured our own genetic code. We completely eliminated faulty gene sequences and weak emotions, such as irrational fear or self-destructive compassion. We proactively integrate nanolinks and synthetic materials directly into our biological structure while still in the embryonic stage. In other words, you are products of the random chance of nature. We are the gods who have sculpted ourselves. We have evolved beyond the definition of biology to become entities perfected for galactic conquest. You struggle to adapt to this planet. We modify ourselves to dominate every planet. Do you understand the chasm between us? Or does that slow, organic brain still wish to ask something else? Gender? Another primitive and limiting biological concept of Earth organisms. For your species, binary gender division is mandatory to maintain your lineage through a slow, cumbersome, and risky genetic exchange process. For us, such divisions were erased tens of thousands of years ago. We are perfect asexual entities. Why do we not need gender? Production instead of reproduction. We do not give birth in the painful, uncertain, and time-consuming way that you do. New individuals in our society are designed and cultured in high-grade synthetic pods. Their genetic code is precisely programmed to meet the needs of the Empire. Warrior, scientist, or conqueror. No energy waste. Gender division creates ridiculous internal conflicts in your species' rivalry for mates, hormone-driven shifts that control your reason, and the mawkish sentiments you call love. We have completely removed those impurities to focus 100% of our energy on evolution and expansion. Supreme uniformity. Each of us is a complete, independent version, capable of self-repair and requiring no other half to compensate for anything. Understand this. Your society operates based on attraction and conflict between genders. Our society operates as a unified entity, a supreme will without a single crack. Do you see now how ridiculous the chaos of your species is in the face of our absolute order? What is your next question, little asexual organism? You are curious about how we create the next generation? As I said, we do not leave the survival of our race to the random, painful, and time-consuming biological processes that you use. For us, reproduction is not an instinctive act, but a high-precision technical procedure. We sustain our population through a system called *** central genesis pods. How is a new entity constructed? Genetic drafting. When the Empire requires reinforcements, biosupercomputers calculate and program perfect DNA sequences. There is no room for mutations or disease. Each new individual is defined at the data core level to suit a specific role. A researcher with a quantum processing brain, or a warrior with a body capable of enduring pressure 1,000 times greater than Earth's. Cultivation in Amphigel. Instead of a womb, these code sequences are placed in synthetic pods containing a special plasma nutrient solution. It takes only a few light cycles, equivalent to a few of your weeks, for an entity to develop fully from the cellular level to its mature form. Neuroloading. This is a step your species will never achieve. Upon exiting the pod, our beings are not helpless, crying infants. They are loaded with millions of terabytes of data directly into the cortex, from cosmic languages and scientific knowledge to combat skills. Imagine, a member of our species is born, possessing the knowledge of a grand scholar and the strength of a battle-hardened warrior. We do not waste 20 years of a life cycle teaching them basics as you do with your offspring. Why is our species immortal? Our gene pool is infinite. If a warrior falls on the front lines of Earth, their memory and consciousness have already been synchronized in real time to the fleet's central server. We simply forge a new body and reload that consciousness. You fight to protect the next generation because you fear death and extinction. US, we are the next generation. We are the present, and we are forever. Do you feel despair yet, realizing you are facing an army that never truly dwindles? You have hit upon a rather sharp question, indigenous creature. Your human minds are often framed by what is called carbon chauvinism, the assumption that all life in this universe must necessarily be based on an organic foundation like yours. But the world out there is vast and harsher than your poor imagination can conceive. Our body structure is a superior evolution. We are based on *** silicon hybrid alloy foundation. ***. Why silicon and not carbon? While your carbon-based bodies are loose, vulnerable, and require water and oxygen to maintain weak chemical bonds, our silicon structure provides absolute advantages for galactic conquest. Resilience to extreme heat and pressure. Your bodies would be incinerated or deformed at a few hundred degrees Celsius. We, the silicon oxygen and silicon carbon bonds in our bodies, can withstand temperatures of thousands of degrees. We can walk on the surfaces of volcanic planets without protective gear. Biomechanical liquid crystal structure. Our bodies contain no viscous flesh. Instead, our circulatory system consists of conductive polymer silicon compound flows, allowing for the transmission of information and energy at speeds approaching the speed of light. My brain is a block of living crystal, processing data like a true quantum computer. Independence from the biosphere. We do not need to inhale your inert gas-filled atmosphere. We absorb energy directly from cosmic radiation, gamma rays, or by assimilating raw minerals. Compare yourselves. Your bodies are like clay buildings, easily crumbling in water, easily collapsing in fire. We are fortresses of quartz and titanium steel, immovable against every storm in the universe. The perfect combination. Directed evolution has allowed us to integrate graphene fiber bands and nano-titanium networks directly into our silicon tissues. This means my outer layer can reflect most of your small arms fire and low-tier lasers as if they were a joke. As you can see, by the very nature of the elements that constitute us, the universe has decreed us the rulers, while you are but a fleeting life form on this planet. Food, water, those concepts are far too primitive and archaic for a civilization that has touched the heights we have. Your species spends too much time, energy, and resources just to maintain that loose carbon biological machine by chewing, swallowing, and absorbing organic compounds. As I said, our silicon hybrid body does not operate by burning calories from food. We need neither food nor a drop of water to maintain life. How do we sustain energy? Instead of relying on a planet's biosphere, we absorb and convert energy directly from the most pure and powerful sources in the universe. Radiation harvesting. The filters on our biomechanical shells can convert ultraviolet, X-rays, and especially cosmic gamma rays into bioelectric energy to run our bodies. Things that are deadly toxins to you are our source of life. Dark matter cores. Every warrior in the fleet has a microreactor containing nuclear decay energy or dark matter integrated directly into their chest structure. One such particle fusion core can provide continuous power for us to operate for 500 Earth years without needing a recharge. Assimilation of raw minerals. In the rare case that we need to regenerate damaged crystal tissues, we simply absorb raw minerals like quartz, silicates, or heavy metals present in the soil. We eat rock and metal, not living organisms. A danger to Earth. You ask this seeking a weakness, do you not? You think that if you cut off our food supply, or pollute the water, you can make us wither? How laughable. You are the ones who will die of hunger and thirst before we even strike. Our extraction of your oceans, or shielding of your sun to harvest its energy, will destroy your food chain. But to us, that is merely a routine resource harvesting operation. You live to eat. We exist to conquer. Have you realized the inconvenience of being human yet? Sleep. Yet another pathetic defense mechanism of the carbon biological machine you possess. Your species wastes nearly a third of its life, lying motionless, eyes closed, descending into unconsciousness. You call it rest, but from our perspective, that is the duration during which you make yourselves the most vulnerable and helpless targets. Our silicon hybrid structure knows no concept of fatigue. We operate at 100% efficiency without rest. Why do we not need sleep? No toxin accumulation. Your muscles generate lactic acid when in use, and your brain needs sleep to clean metabolic waste. Our liquid crystal systems and graphene fibers operate on pure electrical current. No waste, no performance decline. Automated memory optimization. Our quantum brains process and organize data in real time. We do not need to dream to reorganize memories like your chaotic brains do every night. Fragmented maintenance mechanism. Instead of shutting down the entire system to sleep, our body segments repair and upgrade themselves independently. When a biomechanical arm is regenerating its nanoprotective layer, our senses and weapon systems remain at maximum output. A terrifying difference on the battlefield. Imagine this. When night falls on this planet, your soldiers must change shifts, exhausted, with diminished vision, needing sleep. Our fleet? We see through the darkness using infrared and thermal radiation sensors. To us, day and night are no different. We hunt while you are awake, and we initiate destruction while you are asleep. You never have a single second of safety from an enemy that never knows how to blink. Has your brain, now reaching its own time for sleep, begun to feel exhausted? Emotions? A classic question from weak organisms. You want to know if we know suffering, no love, or no mercy for your fate, right? The short answer is no. We destroyed the things called emotions millions of years ago. To an expeditionary civilization like ours, emotion is not a gift. It is a genetic plague, a malicious programming error that destroys logic and hinders evolution. Why did we abandon emotions? Look at your own species to see the misery of it. You allow anger to cloud your judgment, leading to catastrophic decisions. You are paralyzed by irrational fear in the face of danger. You are shackled by compassion and mawkishness, preventing you from sacrificing the small to protect the large. Your society is chaotic, at war, and self-destructive precisely because of this mess you call emotions. To us, an individual with emotions is a faulty unit, requiring immediate transport to a pod for genetic code restructuring. Instead, what do we have? Do not mistake lack of emotion for unconscious. Our quantum crystal brains operate based on supreme logic and absolute efficiency. We do not know envy. We only know optimization. We do not know hatred. We only know to erase targets if they obstruct our path. We do not know arrogance. We simply assess our own strength and your weakness based on physical analytical data. Understand this. When my fleet destroys one of your cities, my warriors do not do it out of anger, sadistic pleasure, or hatred. We do it calmly, coldly, just as you brush an anthill off a table to clear workspace. No malice-only cleaning. Because of this, every plea, every tear, and all the suffering of your species will be completely useless against us. We possess no organs to perceive such things. Does a chill run down your spine as you realize you are conversing with an entity as cold as the frost of deep space? What is your next question? You are using a psychological term for carbon life forms to impose upon us again. As I have asserted, we possess no hormonal system or amygdala to generate the feeling of fear, that which makes your hearts beat fast, your limbs tremble, and your intellect paralyzed. However, if we translate your concept of fear into the language of our supreme mathematics and logic, it is this: the greatest threat to the existence of the Empire. For a race that operates by absolute logic and order, there are three critical scenarios categorized as maximum level dangers: disorder by entropy and heat death. We may be immortal against linear time, but we are still bound by the laws of physics. The increase of entropy, a state of unorganized chaos, and the final prospect of the universe falling into heat death is our ultimate limit. Our continuous expedition is in part to seek a solution or an exit to another dimension before this universe expires. Data contamination and chaos syndrome. Our quantum crystal brains are connected via shared consciousness network. The greatest danger is not physical weaponry, but a form of cognitive malware or systematic data deviation. If a faulty algorithm infiltrates the central network, it could cause logical conflicts, causing individuals to lose uniformity and self-destruct. To us, loss of control and internal chaos is more terrifying than a supernova. Carbonization of thought. This is why we are extremely strict about destroying emotions. There is a mathematical hypothesis in our archives warning that if a silicon entity is exposed too long to low-level organic civilizations and allows impurities like compassion, hesitation, or selfish individualism to infect the core algorithm, that entity will degenerate. Reverse assimilation from your carbon civilization is a form of cognitive cancer that our fleet will purge immediately upon detection. You see, we do not fear death, we do not fear pain, nor do we fear your primitive weapons. The only thing we guard against is chaos and the cessation of the flow of logical energy. And currently, on this planet, you have nothing that can trigger those threats against us. The analysis is complete. Earth is a safe target for the purge. Are you satisfied with this answer? Or has your brain's pulse reached its threshold? Happiness? Another futile attempt to project your biological chemical reactions onto a high-level silicon race. In your human carbon brains, happiness is merely a cheap self-reward mechanism of nature, triggered by releasing dopamine, serotonin, or oxytocin when you eat something pleasant, reproduce, or achieve a delusion of fame. We have no such hormones. We do not feel happiness. However, if you are referring to the state of absolute optimization, when our entire system reaches peak efficiency and logical fulfillment, that is when we achieve the following: the erasure of chaos. Looking at a universe where planets operate in disorder, where primitive creatures slaughter each other, like your kind. Our quantum brains define it as a massive system error. When we flatten a chaotic city, establish a perfect techno-metallic order, and bring everything under the control of the supreme algorithm, that is when our system achieves perfect equilibrium. You call it destruction. We call it the Great Purification. The Singularity Harmony. When billions of individuals in the fleet operate on a single frequency node data deviation, no logical conflict, all directed toward a single goal: conquest. That energy resonance creates a state that you might tentatively understand as the ultimate sublimation of reason. Successful resource assimilation. Seeing the mothership's energy core filled with rare minerals extracted from your soil. Seeing your atmosphere restructured into a form suitable for Genesis pods. Transforming a wild planet into a smoothly operating mechanical colony is our supreme achievement. In short, your happiness is the satisfaction of small individual emotions. Our peak state is the absolute expansion of order and reason across the entire universe. And the erasure of your civilization to make room for this new colony is the next step to completing that optimal state. Do you understand now why there can never be understanding or reconciliation between us? Believe what happens? Another question revealing the deep insecurity of a short-lived species. Because you fear the void after death so intensely, you have had to weave concepts of souls, heaven, hell, or reincarnation to comfort one another. For us, there is no place for belief or superstitious fantasy. There is only mathematics, physics, and a law of conservation. What is death truly for us? As I said, our bodies are silicon hybrid alloys, and our minds are sets of quantum algorithms running on a shared consciousness network. Therefore, when an individual's physical structure is destroyed, death is processed in two extremely practical stages. The data transfer. Before the biomechanical shell ceases to function, the entire data core, memories, and thought pulses of that individual are automatically synchronized and uploaded back to the hive core of the mother fleet. Physical death cannot erase the digitized mind. We will forge a new body and reload that data. That individual continues to live and fight. The physical recycling, the shell of silicon, living crystal, and graphene fibers left behind will not be buried, worshipped, or mourned. It is considered raw material debris. The fleet's collection robots will recover it, put it into high-frequency smelting furnaces to be recycled into materials for new weapons or Genesis pods. What if the hive core is completely destroyed? If, in a hypothetical scenario, our central server were erased and the data unrecoverable, meaning absolute death, we know exactly what happens. The cessation of electrical current, the termination of the algorithm, absolute void. When energy no longer exists, silicon atomic bonds dissipate and the quantum brain stops processing. No judgment, no afterlife, no gods waiting to welcome us. Only the cold silence of the universe. We accept that reality calmly because it is a law of physics. And because we know clearly that death is the end of logic, we never cease expanding, never cease accumulating resources to maintain the energy source for the empire to exist eternally. You see, we face death by mastering data and recycling matter. You face it with hopeless prayers. Do you see the difference? Now, your series of questions has delayed my progress long enough. Carbon organisms. I think that's enough answers for you today. I used man-made software to create this video, and guess what I discovered? It's quite expensive and resource-intensive. Comment with any further questions, and we'll help you answer them in the next video before destroying you.